Thank you all for being here today. And most importantly, you're here because I want to thank you for your generosity to Safe Harbor Rescue Mission. Because of you, lives are being transformed right before our eyes. And so today we're going to just chat a little bit. You know, God has just revealed to me the power of a conversation. And many of your relationships with Safe Harbor started with a conversation. So we're just going to gather some stories today and just have you share how God stirred your heart to become a part of Safe Harbor. So Pat, I guess a lot of this really started with you. You know, I've heard stories of how Debbie was it a coffee or a luncheon?
Lunch.
A lunch. And I know that Debbie had been praying for a place for women to live while they were working on recovery. And she shared that day?
Well, she shared it, but I was invited by Sandy Dunbar to come to the luncheon. There was a nice group, maybe 8 of us. And they spoke about what their plans were, and they were at St. Paul's, is that right? In the house, parsonage. And they had set up there, and they had women coming in there, and we got to meet some of the first women. And it was just one of those things that I thought I needed to be a part of this.
And then you made it possible for us to have the house where the women, many women have lived there. We've seen life transformation there. And then later, you made it possible to have the basement finished so the New Day program could move back. And then your children, your daughters, have given generously to Safe Harbor. And your precious, I can't not mention Howard, I'm sorry, but your precious late husband, Howard. What stirred Howard's heart? He was a faithful donor.
Well, he knew I cared a lot about Safe Harbor. But he also went to the events with me when we had the tables, and he's heard the speakers, and I guess he felt like that it was something that he also thought was a good place to invest. And of course, I told you the story. I don't know if y'all know, but my husband did pass recently, and while he was either at Trinity Ridge or in the hospital, he said, I need to write some checks. Well, I was the gopher, you know, to go get this and go get that. So I said, okay, what do you need to write checks for? And I thought, well, maybe something business or pay a bill or something. And he said, I need to write one to the church and I need to write one to Safe Harbor. So those were the last 2 checks he wrote.
He's precious. So Matt and Carla, you have been partnering with Safe Harbor for a very long time too. Was it like 2009, 2010? And was that with a conversation, or how did you all get involved in Safe Harbor?
The internet.
The internet.
So you guys had posted online for volunteers on a volunteer site, and I found out about it. But what kept me kind of coming back was conversations with Debbie. That's when I met her. I met the women there and did some things, and that sort of started us on the road to learning more about it. So.
And you know what's touched my heart about you two? You both are teachers. And you not only teach your own children how to live a life of generosity, but you also teach your students. Would you mind sharing some of the ways your students have become involved with Safe Harbor?
With the Interact Club that I sponsor, our motto is service above self. And so we have really strived to do that through painting at Safe Harbor, providing a meal like we are coming up, providing supplies, coming to the resource and contributing there as well, and just trying to strive to them to help those that are less fortunate.
And then, of course, you directed our bedspread derby. You brought that idea to Safe Harbor, so you've got some skin in the game as well.
That was a lot of fun to do. It was a great way to, for instance, for me as a man, I can't necessarily counsel women who are down and out, but I like to be able to think that I can help do things like the bed race that would facilitate ministry to women that are in great need.
So LMA, that brings us to you. And I understand that you came to Safe Harbor by way of a conversation.
Well, we were meeting with Mike on some financial things, and he had told us about Safe Harbor, and then Debbie came in, Debbie Haynes, to talk to Mike because they needed resources. And she also was speaking to him about being the speaker. And so he came back in, and then we decided to give a gift at that time. And then after we went to the first dinner, we were really hooked. And so, because we all know women that are just need help, and it's been a joy to work with Safe Harbor.
And your husband, Malin, couldn't be here today, but we are so grateful for the two of you. And I remember a summer when we really thought we were going to have to close the doors. And you and Malin stepped up and provided a matching gift, and God provided through resources that summer because of your generosity in that matching gift.
Well, we were happy to be able to do that.
So Don, our relationship started with a conversation as well. I thought I was talking to you about the need of a 12-passenger van. God had other plans. So would just you and Alicia share what God's done through stirring your hearts to be a part of Safe Harbor? Alicia has volunteered. You guys have given generously.
Well, when we first talked about the need of a van, you invited me to the luncheon. And then after we toured the facilities and learned more about what's going on at Safe Harbor, then I don't know, God just affirmed to me that this is a really good place to invest your money. There's, we've had issues raising children, and we know how important second chances are, and without the Christian element, without Christ, there's, we can all go through programs and things, but Christ makes a difference, and I can see that.
And Alicia, you have volunteered in the New Day program. What's that been like for you?
Well, when you think you're going to do something to be a blessing, and you always are on the receiving end, or I'm on the receiving end when I go in. There's Jill's little mama. Oh, your husband's the one on TV, the whole. But they all know you, and they all love you, and they just want to sit down and have lunch. It's a wonderful place.
So Robin, ours started with a conversation as well. I had no idea what that conversation was going to lead to. We have a mutual friend, again, Sandy Dunbar's name is mentioned, and she said, you need to share Safe Harbor with Robin Henson. So we set a date to have coffee. I thought that I was sharing so that you could go back and share the women at your church. God had a bigger plan.
Well, as we were sitting talking, you were telling me about the Greenleaf program. And as you told me about the responsibility, the financial responsibility that the women had in order to stay in the apartment, it was like God spoke to my heart that day. And He said, you need to take that responsibility this year. And so I felt led at that time to say, okay, Vicki, I can do this for Safe Harbor this year.
Well, guys, as grateful as I am, there's some people here today that want to say thank you personally.
There are some people here. That was part of it.
Wow, a lot of people.
Wow. Oh my gosh, how beautiful.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm a graduate of Safe Harbor and also an employee of Safe Harbor now. I just want to thank y'all from the bottom of my heart for everything that y'all do for Safe Harbor. Safe Harbor has given me a new life, a new meaning, a new purpose, even after I've graduated. Being able to go and work and share my story and help the ladies there, continue to help them, it's truly amazing. I mean, my life has come full circle now. It feels like I was very broken when I came into Safe Harbor, and y'all, through what y'all do for us, I've been given life again. So it's pretty amazing, and I am grateful. My family is grateful. They have their daughter, their mother, their sister back. So thank y'all.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I just want to thank you first for your generosity and what your giving has done for Safe Harbor. Lets me sit here today and thank you for what Safe Harbor has done in my life. And a year ago, I came to Hickory, North Carolina from Plano, Texas, all by myself after a 7-year, what I call dark night of the soul. And I was thrown into a deep depression after losing my son in a custody battle, and I had went into alcoholism. And to run from my pain, I married a man I had no right marrying, and it became a very abusive marriage. And I had realized I had lost everything, and I had no hope. My father, 2 years ago, had a stroke, and he almost died. They live here. And I was too broke, too drunk, and too messed up and ashamed to come home to be with him. And I almost lost him. And I knew at that moment something had to change. And I went to God, and He told me to get right with my family and to get right with Him and to come to Hickory at all costs and to leave that bad marriage and my bad life. And I spent my night homeless here for the first time in my life. And I thought I was going to die in that shelter. But God came to me that night and said, "You are not going to die. You're going to be fine." And I woke up the next morning and a van came and brought me to Safe Harbor Rescue Mission. And I did not know about Safe Harbor. And I walked in through the doors of that beautiful building and was greeted with warmth and love and acceptance. And I knew that at that moment, that's where God had planned to bring me for my healing. I am now fully employed at Family Guidance Center in their consumer credit counseling services. I have a car through a generous patron of Safe Harbor and Family Guidance. And my relationship with my family has been restored. I was able to spend the last 8 months of my father's life by his side and able to deliver his eulogy when he passed this June. And that is the power of restoration and redemption in Jesus Christ, which is seen through the ministry of Safe Harbor, which you have been able to give to me. And I want to thank you very much.
My name is Nancy. I too am a graduate of Safe Harbor. I came to Safe Harbor in 2010 after 3 near-fatal suicide attempts. I keep thinking of some huge word other than just thank you. My dad used to say, come up with a $6 word. And I don't know, how do you adequately thank people for saving your life?
My name is Lauren, and I'm also a graduate of Safe Harbor. I graduated 2 years ago, and Safe Harbor was the best thing that ever happened to me. Before I went to Safe Harbor, I had absolutely nothing. I didn't trust anybody. I owned nothing. And the first thing I learned at Safe Harbor was to trust in God. And that pretty much started the transpiration of everything for me. I restored my relationships with my family. I learned how to trust the girls that I live with. That was one of the hardest things. And I have some really amazing friends. I have some amazing mentors. I've been able to make a career for myself. I'm about to graduate college. So Safe Harbor has completely transformed my life, and I don't know where I would be without you guys helping and believing in us and believing in the program and believing what the women do there for us. It's amazing.
Hey, my name is Mike. This is my wife, Chris. Several years ago, we found out about Safe Harbor. She actually did hair for the girls at Safe Harbor. And we were kind of drawn to this ministry. And we didn't realize at the time that God had bigger plans. On down the road, you know, we had my daughter, my oldest daughter, Brooke, she got mixed up in some pain pills and stuff and got hooked on that, and she lived in Elk, and I went to get her and brought her back, and I was talking to Debbie, and I was telling her, I said, I need some help, because I knew that she was supposed to be there, because I trusted that. Me and my wife were drawn toward things that are God is in, and we knew that God was in this and that it was good. She went through and she graduated, and we were proud. I got to see her get baptized at church, and that whole time through Safe Harbor, she was okay, but she wasn't. We found out later, you know, we took her to detox, and she didn't have any drugs in her. Come to find out, and they sent her down to Charlotte, Carolina Medical Center, and found out she had a brain tumor. But she come out of the operation, and she was okay. I knew she was okay. She was thinking right again. She had her mind back. You know, just for a little while, she had her mind right. And I got to kiss her. She reached up and kissed me. And but the thing is, if it had not been for Safe Harbor, and that time with her kids, you know, it was just a total miracle and of what God done, and the timing that everything was done for her to live long enough, you know, for her to live long enough and us not find out that she was just a drug addict when she wasn't. She went through that whole thing with that brain tumor.
I too am a graduate of Safe Harbor, and I'm employed by Safe Harbor. I work for Safe Harbor. I work at Resource. And I'm so grateful for every one of you investing in people that you don't know, investing in people who society shuns. But you do it, and you do it because that's what God has called you to do. You know, I came to Safe Harbor in 2013, and I came from jail. I came from Watauga County Jail, and I was addicted to prescription pain pills. And with the program, God has restored the relationships with my family, and also the relationship with God that I have now it's unbelievable. And because of you all, you know, I got a second chance, and this is my husband,
Brian,
and my little boy, and I don't think, I know that I wouldn't be here with my own family and my son had it not been for Safe Harbor, and I'm so very grateful. Thank you so much.
Well, guys, it's with grateful hearts that for the last time, I thank you so very much with all of these families here surrounding me.